during this program.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, everyone. It is FEM Talk Tuesday. How's FEM Talk Nation out there? Listen, we are still honoring Women's History Month, so I'm going to bring in the beautiful women of FEM Talk. We have Shima Shishi Talks.
And hey, FEM Talkers. I missed you guys last week.
Hello, hello, Shima Shishi. And we have Dr. Mimi Melissa Simmons.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, hello, hello. Okay, I got to get you. Why does it say Melissa there and it does not have Dr. Melissa Simmons on the screen?
Oh.
Yes.
Gotta fix that.
So everyone out there, we have been enjoying your questions. We love that you are sending in questions, and we want to just make sure that you have the email address so that all of your burning questions can get answered. So please email us more questions because we love them. Keep them coming at femtalktv@gmail.com. We want to hear from you so we can highlight your question and give you insights and opinions on your questions right here on the show. So we're going to get into it tonight. Hey, oh yeah, I was rocking too, Dr. Melissa. So the question of the night is, I have a friend who is a huge flirt and has always been. She even does it with my husband. You see, my eyes got big on that one. How do I tell her to knock it off? Now, listen, I'm going to go to the married woman first here. I want Dr. Melissa to answer that because maybe you've encountered something like this previously. I want you to answer that, having been married for so long. How have you maybe handled somebody trying to flirt with your husband, or how would you handle someone trying to flirt with your husband?
Women flirt. I have seen women flirting with my husband. He's a good-looking man and, very personable. He is not trying to flirt, so he ignores it or doesn't notice it. I don't do anything. I'm quite comfortable in our relationship. So I'm like, oh, well, I said, you can't have him, so it's that. I think the one time, because, some say this in a nice way. Some people may, take it too far. The one time I had to confront a friend, now this was actually pre-marriage. So one time, and it was actually at the time, one of my best friends. And there was a little bit too much talking. And then I was not happy. So I said, I looked at him, I will deal with it later. And I went to her, I said, let me make it real clear. Yours, he's mine. I don't ever want to see that happen because if it does, I will have to blink, 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 and blink. Okay.
All right. I love it. I love though that your first answer was like, I don't really do anything because he's mine. And then it go on to explain that because there are levels to the flirting, right? And if it's an innocent smile and a little chuckle, laughter, a little conversation, right? But I like that you said, okay, there was too much talking because you can't take that too far. You can't take that too far.
And too much intent talking.
Yeah.
And just the two of y'all talking.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the rest of the conversation people in this conversation?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I would say, like, if people are a little too touchy-feely, right? That's another way where
that was
it's
gonna
like,
be my
okay,
point.
yeah,
Right
something that you need to stop, right? Because take your hands off my man, please.
there. I
remove,
am a
remove,
person of
remove
touch.
the hands.
Yeah, I do. I know that. I touch people when I talk, even when I'm not flirting.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta do even say when you go to Dubai and they say all that touching in public. The
Mm-hmm.
man helped us. I put my hand on his shoulder. I thought okay, well now they're gonna arrest me.
Mm-hmm.
I done touched the man. But that I am a handsy person. So and I'm a single person.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta be careful
Mm-hmm.
with that interaction.
Yeah.
And I say that about being single because I've been a single woman, the single friend for a lot of relationship people, married people, and you get along with everybody. I'm friendly with guys, I'm friendly with girls. So there's a level of well, I don't call that flirting, but there is a level of familiarity
Mm-hmm.
that you have to be careful with
Mm-hmm.
when you're dealing with somebody's husband
Mm-hmm.
or boyfriend or somebody who ain't yours. Let's just put it like that.
Yeah.
And I think, like Melissa said, you have to tell her,
Mm-hmm.
or at some point. Now, a little bit of flirtation is fine for me because that's like, oh, somebody still find my boo boo attractive. Okay, but then, like you said, don't put on all that hand touching.
Yeah.
All that secret, separate conversation. It
Mm-hmm.
becomes too much of a red flag. So
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think you should say something.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to be hurtful. And she said she's always been a flirt. She's always been a flirt. So you know that of her. She knows that. You before you guys got married, or you got married and she didn't know if she's single. You knew that about her. So it might be easy for you to say that to her because you know her MO. You know how she did. Okay, that's a lot of flirting. You always been a flirt. I need you to flirt less with my husband. That's it. Because I'm with you, Melissa.
Yeah.
Everybody getting it. Now, if my husband don't understand that he might want to stop flirting too, when I say everybody getting it, everybody getting it. Her,
That's right. Don't look clueless that you don't. I didn't see. No.
Yeah.
Right.
And I wanted to say too, like, don't excuse the fact that she's always been a flirt,
right,
and make that okay, right? Because it's not, especially like if she's your friend too, or your cut. In this case, I think she said it was her friend. Yeah, if she's your friend, she should know better, right? It's just lines that you just don't cross with your friends.
Right.
Yeah,
I think it's a level of disrespect to the friend. It's like that's my husband. So honor my relationship and don't go and don't go far like that.
Yeah.
So I think
honor both.
And honor, yes, I was gonna say also honor our relationship as girlfriends. Yeah.
In my relationship.
Yeah.
And
that's what I mean. Honor with. So why would you put me in that position to have to, approach you about something? Honor that. Honor the friendship.
Is that what you were going to say? That why would you put me in the position to have to put my hands on you? Sound like that's what you were say.
Right.
All that hugging and kissing.
Right.
That's right. I had to learn. Now, I would say on the flip side, Lamar had to. He will check me too, because I'm to your point. I'm friendly, and I'm relational. So he said, I remember in church he said, all that hugging, no. I had to learn a man, if that even was warranted, you know what I'm saying, and all of that kind of stuff. So it's a two-way street because he wants the same honor and respect that I want. So I had to kind of, be careful with. To your point, Sheila, I could be. I mean, Shima, I could be, friendly, and wasn't even thinking that way. And he's like, I'm a man. I know what men think. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, right. But my eyes real big. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? I'm not thinking that way.
Not thinking. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And and maybe the friend is not either. But that's when it comes to a point where you just have to let people know. Period. Exactly. Right.
And then you know what? On the flip side, I gotta say I was out a couple of weeks ago, and this guy said, "Oh, will you buy?" He said, "You gotta buy me a drink." I said, "Oh, where your girlfriend at?" He was like, "Oh no, she don't got it." I said, "No, I'm just gonna ask her. I don't buy drinks for people who got a girlfriend. I'm gonna ask her. It's
Right.
okay if I buy you, but him a drink." He
Right.
asked me to buy him a drink. He's like, "No, never mind. You don't want the drink now? Oh, okay. Well, I won't answer that. Out of here. I know what that is. Buy your own drink. You can't buy your money."
So listen, everyone. We want to move on to. This was a great question, though, and we want to make sure that you keep those questions coming. We want to move on to our now hot topic.
Everywhere.
All right. Now I'm going to say to Dr. Melissa, because this is one that you brought up. So I'm going to let you talk about this hot topic.
Quite hot for Dr. Melissa. Right.
Yes.
So now, my friend in my head,
right,
Miss Oprah Winfrey, and again, my friend in my head, Miss Oprah Winfrey, kind of annoyed me this week. She really did, because she came out all of a sudden. She doing a nighttime special, had it all announced on Good Morning America, with a nighttime special to talk about the use of all of these weight loss drugs in order for you to manage your weight. How good it is for you now to have the real conversation. I said, what?
Rewind.
Didn't you just have a special a few months ago? Kind of giving a pow to those that use the drugs, only to come to find, oopsies, I do too. We did do this disclaimer, right? I do too.
Yes.
About it now, because all of a sudden, weight loss, weight and obesity is a disease, huh?
For you.
Was it always?
For you, because it's been one for everyone else, but it's just become one for you now.
Well, okay.
Right.
So we're going to challenge that. I'm going to challenge that part of it. Right. I have to challenge that part of it. So first of all, she went on to Jimmy Kimmel's talk show last night. Was it last night or the night before? One day this week, talking about now how the doctors have explained, as if this is something that she's just hearing about, how the doctors have explained that obesity is a disease and that it's genetic, that it's in your DNA. So it's a part of her DNA, which is what she explained on the show. It's a part of her DNA.
Now,
but I'm going to say this, and yes,
I need my bell.
I'm going to keep saying now.
Yeah,
I'm going to keep saying now.
Yeah, but this is this is my own opinions with this, right? And listen, I'm not a medical professional, right? We're just gonna put that disclaimer out there first. However, you can't conveniently use obesity as a disease in your DNA after now taking the drugs and not wanting the people to know that you took the drugs. And of course, you guys know I'm always on the side of the more holistic approach. And I even challenge that whole thing. I even challenge that it's a part of your DNA. I think it's a disease. I think it's a habitual disease and a hormonal disease and there's physical things that happen. But I don't know if it's necessarily a part of your DNA. I want to see the research on that one, because this is what she was claiming last night. So
I'm throwing a flag. Look, flag.
It says now.
Right. So yeah. So listen. We can't make excuses for our own behaviors, our own habits, the things that we choose to do. Let's just admit what was done, right? And listen, it was a choice. It was a choice. And it's okay to make those choices when you feel like that's what's best for you to get to where you need to be. It's okay to make those choices.
But it's the avenue you took. Don't judge. You judged. And then it's the first, because and we talk about what she recently did, and then a little more recent. I mean, I guess a little previous, what she said. But originally, it was judgment, straight judgment from any use of anything outside of Weight Watchers or any other way of losing weight. So you judge the use of the medicine. You secretly use the medicine. You separated yourself from the business. Now you're talking about how it was a good thing.
Well, it's a good thing now because it's more widely accepted now. Because now it's being talked about. Now the drugs are being talked about more. Now more people in entertainment are taking the drugs, admittedly so, right? So now it's more accepted. So I'm gonna say this is being a patsy for a platform.
Thank you.
Hello, and I ding 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 ding. I believe that all of a sudden you're going to see her getting some promotion for her doing this.
Already.
And my problem,
the Ozempic spokesperson. This is my Ozempic. This is the what is it? I was gonna say a facsimile. This is the Ozempic. I'm Oprah.
You can hear it already coming out. And my problem is with that. To your point, you know, the made as I told I was annoyed and says I don't want to hear about her. No, we have to hear about the people that have influence in this country, and she is considered fifth most influential woman in this country. The fifth. So yeah, we have to talk about what you say and how you say things and check you on it. Right. Because
just say.
And just say that was it. When we had our show, let's talk about that. Y'all could go back. Talk Nation. If you depend on Nation, you heard it already. But if you didn't, we had the show on weight loss, and we already said it was a disease. I said it was. That's what my doctor told me. And that put me at so much ease because I've struggled all my life with my weight, all my life. So and they had a woman saying, "Oh, I had this disease." I told y'all I was on almost 6 medications before my weight loss surgery.
That's right.
Over 6, and still wasn't regulated with my blood pressure, with my with my sugar. None of it was regulated, and then they want to put on more. And the moment I had surgery, the moment I came out, I was off of everything. And still to this day, don't none of it. Yeah, I'm gonna take something to help me.
Yeah,
because it's like anybody else that would take something to help regulate what they struggle with. There's all kinds of things now that helps people through their particular disease. And sometimes it isn't
really different. That's right.
And there should not be any judgment around what people choose to do for their own bodies. Everybody has autonomy over their own health. So there should not be any judgment around that, right? No. We don't have to use the same modalities, right?
That's right.
We don't have to use the same modalities. So I just wanted to mention that too. And I do challenge a lot when it comes to the medical profession, but I don't challenge people making choices that are best for their life.
Right. Because you know, and I love you for that, Tracy, because you always make that point known that it's that's the right, and that's why I so respect you as a reset coach and how you help people move from different places in their life to making better choices. And you know, and even because of that influence, I have gone to a much more healthier way of living than I had before. You know what I'm saying? So I think I think that influence, again, your influence on all me and other people that you and listen to what you say, it has helped us make those choices. That's why I said you have to call out those that have influence when they make flops.
Yeah.
Because people listen to you. People may have stopped doing something because you said so. Or okay, I can't do this no more. And now they struggle because why? Because you different mode, alternative going on, or different, reason why you didn't say certain things or said certain things. I think that's the point that bothered me. It wasn't that she came out to support it. I would have wished she did it before because she's always struggled with weight. We've all watched her, like I have, lose 70, gain it back, lose 100, gain it back. I've done the same thing. So we understand
she has such a platform that she can. I mean, think about what you just said, how Tracy supports how you chose, how you choose to, address your weight issues. she may not be able to, how she would do it is not the way you would do it. I think her and I had that discussion when she was visiting.
Yeah.
She's been my trainer. I've worked with her. She is a coach. She does tell me what's good for me to eat, what's not. So when I found a way that I thought would help me, 25 pounds down so far, I wanted to make sure she understood it wasn't because what she was giving me didn't help. It just didn't work for me in that aspect. But what she continues to do, and this is what Oprah needs to remember, what Tracy continues to do is when I say I'm doing this, or I've taken this, or I'm eating this way, she, rather I'm her client or not, because I'm her bestie, she will investigate what I'm doing to see if it's healthy for me. Which is going to support me in another way. The way that I've chosen follows someone that I saw myself in.
Yes.
That's it. But it doesn't mean that you still don't have to have the support that says, well, I applaud you for doing this. Make sure you're doing this. Protect yourself in this way. Maybe tweak that part right there because it may have some other health issues. So there's an obligation and accountability that is to be had for someone who's gonna be the spokesperson for anything. And she has such a platform that is requiring her to not only listen, you tell everything else. You got up there and talked about your nephew having HIV. I don't even think that that was your business to tell. But you told it. That's fine. But if you can be so open and honest with that information, listen, I was fat. I say it because I can say fat. Why? Because I've been fat. Fat now. I was fat. I didn't want to be fat. I chose this avenue and I used this drug. Does it work for everybody? No. You don't shame the people. And then because you've already shamed them, now you need to be the backtracker. So you shamed them. You thought it wasn't great. You made a decision that you thought was best at that time. You know, in this business, it's easy. You must retract. So go ahead and do it. And now set the people on a good path. Not because you're going to make $1 or a connection. Just set the people on the good path.
And that's it right there. So listen, we're gonna, because this is our hot topic, everyone, even though we're so passionate about this.
Right, I forgot it was just a hot topic.
Exactly, but we're gonna pivot because this is a great way. We're honoring women's health for this particular episode. So this is a great way to segue into women's health because this is such a big part of it. Losing weight and how women have struggled is such a big part of women's health. So we want to segue into that. I do want to let people know that we've been doing a squat challenge for the month of March. We are on, today is day 19 and it's not too late. I know it may be, 8:55 p.m. right here on the East Coast, but you can still get your squats in. It's 95 squats today. Look at my pages on every platform. And tomorrow is day 20 and they keep rising, but you don't have to do them all at once. You can break them up, join the challenge. It will help you to get moving. It allows you to move your body to get some exercise because movement is so important.
Let's just be honest. It's building the backside.
And it is building the backside. And don't you and don't you want a nice bun in the back? Absolutely. So some of the benefits from moving your body on a regular basis is blood circulation, productivity, creativity, increasing those endorphins, increasing your energy, reducing your stress. It is a great way for you to do all of those things and more. It helps with your digestive system. I mean, I could go on and on about what exercise does for your body. Get some form of movement every day. You can join the challenge and start to jumpstart your health and your exercise. Yes, Dr. Melissa.
I have a question.
Yes.
Reset coach. I want to know because squats don't work because of my knees. I don't have a lot of cartilage left in the knees, so any kind of bending, any kind of pressure on knees kind of takes me out of sorts. And I've had some back challenges as of late. We can talk about that later. But I wanted to know what kind of alternates do you have that someone like me could participate in, and what kind of recommendations do you have? I've seen people of the new challenge I've seen out there is chair yoga and stuff like that. So I'm curious as to what do you recommend for not no mobility, but limited mobility, especially in the knee area.
Yeah. So since we were talking about building the buns, you can do kickbacks also, where your leg is not, it's very slightly bent, right? And you can add some resistance to it, where you can put a resistance band around your thighs and you can kick back. And it's also going to build your glutes. And you can hold on to something, a chair, the counter, the wall, and you can kick your leg back and you can build your glutes that way. And then it doesn't allows you to not have to bend your knees, put the stress on your knees, but it'll help you build your glutes. So just one of those exercises that will allow you to build the buns without having to put the stress on your knees. I will say this about squats though, there are many variations, so you don't have to feel like you have to get down into that squat so low to the point where you are putting the stress on your knees. And there's ways to point your toes out, put the pressure of your body weight into your heels, and hold on to a wall, to a counter, to a chair, and do like a half squat too. So you may want to try those when it comes to the squats themselves, but there's other ways for you to be able to build your buns. The other good thing is yoga, right? Because it's not a lot of stress on your knees. So doing yoga and Pilates is a great way for, particularly when you have knee and back problems, because you mentioned back problems as well. And you can do a lot of good Pilates moves at home. There's some great ones that you're married. There's some great Pilates moves that your husband will love that you can even do right in your bed.
Ooh,
that will help build. That will help build. That will help build your thighs. That will help build your thighs and build your buns right from the comfort of your bed. So yeah, we'll have to talk about that later. But there are moves that you can do that will not allow you to put stress on your knees and still get the exercise that you need.
Thank you, Coach Tracy.
You are welcome.
Quite thankful there.
You are welcome. Yeah, we got to talk about those other moves. I think you guys will have fun with those. But we're talking about being advocates as well for ourselves when it comes to our health. So I want to know what you ladies think about, what do you do when you go to the doctor? How do you advocate for yourself when you're not feeling well and you have questions for the doctor?
Well, I think we're going to take a quick break before we answer that, right?
We can do that, absolutely.
Yeah. I'm only just saying that because our producer is so amazing. He put it in caps. I'm going to tell y'all. He put it in caps. You better get it in
I'm not talking FEM Talk.
FEM Talk. Listen, FEM Talk Nation, y'all know how we keep it real. These two ladies hard-headed. No, sir.
Those two.
No, sir. We're going to take a quick break and we're going to come back and talk about how we keep it healthy. Is that what you said?
No. And we are back. So before the break, because somebody wasn't listening, Before the break, everyone, we asked the question of how do you advocate for yourself?
Oh yeah, that's what we were talking about.
That's it.
How do you advocate for yourself when you are going to the doctor and you want to know more about how you're feeling, about your health? What do you do?
I'll start in saying a number of years ago, um, I'll say pre-menopause, I felt changes, and I was determined, let me say it again, determined to find a woman gynecologist that was a certain age, which is not easy to find because a lot of gynecologists specialize and center their practices on OBGYN.
Mm-hmm.
So finding a gynecologist that was really focused on, menopause and had history in that. So I worked hard to find, and when I found the right one, it took me a year to get an appointment. But I was willing to wait the year because I knew once I had an appointment, then I would be on the rotation, and I knew she would help me. And she made a significant impact on my life because I was able to finally ask questions, because I found myself not getting answers. I've gone to a number of doctors prior and really never got answers to what I needed to find answers to. I think also the challenge with a lot of African or Black women is that people don't understand our body, skin. And one of the things I remember a doctor telling me is that I didn't have eczema, because eczema in Caucasian people appear different than it does in Black women.
Mm-hmm.
And they continuously told me I didn't have it. However, I was treatments for it and I had it. You know what I'm saying? It was one of those things. So I think learning that there is a difference in the ethnicity of who you are as a patient, and finding a doctor, and also being a female, finding a doctor that could really relate to you was important. So over the last 10 years, I would say I really educated myself trying to find doctors that could relate to who I was as a Black woman, who I was as a woman over, and how they would address my issues. And so many of my issues was handled working with her. So that's one of the ways I've really, sought answers for my own questions that I had as a woman.
Yeah. And just to go further on that, like I ask a lot of questions, probably annoyingly so, but I do it with a smile. However, I ask a lot of questions because, I challenge the doctors. I can remember, when I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and after having all the surgery and everything, started taking a medication that they gave me, had some awful side effects, really awful side effects. So I went in and I challenged the doctor. I started doing some research, but I went in and started challenging the doctor and told him that I wasn't going to take it anymore. And every time I used to go to the oncologist's office, he would say, "Okay, I had to get ready for you. They told me you were here. I know there's a lot of questions coming." But you have to start to advocate for yourself, because particularly when you're taking medication, right? Because they'll say, well, this is not normal or that's not normal. Well, why am I feeling this way? Right? Maybe this doesn't seem normal, but then when I go look up, blogs of women talking about it, they're talking about these same side effects. So it's a lot more normal than you may think, right? So you have to start to advocate for yourself, start to do some research, ask a lot of questions. Great
Yes.
Consult a pharmacist, because they do know a lot. And the other profession that you consult also is a physician's assistant. I find that the physician's assistants, they do a lot of research and homework on their own, and they're the ones who are at the forefront talking to other patients. So they hear more about what's happening with other patients also, that can give you some insight into your own case.
Yes. I need to highlight that one about pharmacists.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how often, for me, when my mom was assistant living, and they were giving her medication, I had to call Dr. Jen so many times, and so gracious in helping us. I totally agree in the pharmacists. And a lot of people, especially during COVID, when you couldn't get into a doctor's office, pharmacists became, my hey pharmacists out there, my pharmacists became like a key a key person in so many people's lives with their medicine and just their medical life. And they became that advocate. So I want you out, my pharmacists and my pharmacists is out there, because I think that's another avenue that so many of them have become a key to go to and to ask questions on. And to your point, Tracy, they do that research too. If they're not familiar with something, they do a lot of research, and they've become an avenue for so many people. So
also get the feedback from the patients immediately, sometimes before they even go back to the doctor. And for them, they have variations of medicines. So they're also, you have several that are supposed to do the same thing, but they react differently in all the patients. So your pharmacist really has some of that firsthand knowledge of what it could do to you, what reactions you might see or what you might not see. And that's based on the version of medicine that you take. I did want to say, as far as picking your doctors, one of that, and you spoke about the physician's assistant. I have to say for myself, I looked up on a doctor's office, and in that office, I have gone through three of the doctors, from a very young girl to now, and it's always been the same assistant. She's been with them the whole time. And when I tell you, she knows and hears everything and researches everything and reads everything. And I mean, from the gamut, the medicine, the referrals, what the insurance companies allow, what to expect, what not to expect, what the costs are. She has so much knowledge that it makes it easier for me to go in there with my questions that are more, personal, not so much what is happening to everybody, but what it's doing to me at that moment or during that time. She can pinpoint. She helps the doctor pull out the right questions or pull out the right information. So I have to say I lucked up in that respect. And I agree with you, Dr. Melissa. People are quick to say, oh, well, then I think that's just everybody. Or maybe it's African Americans are different in that respect. I remember I had a dentist tell me that my gums were dark because I'm brown. See my face?
Oh, wow. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh, but that just sounds so ridiculous.
It sounds
the ignorance times that and people and when you read certain articles or you get information, that's why the mortality rate Black women with certain things is much higher than other women, because we're not. A lot of people do not know what that it does affect you. Your ethnicity does affect certain things, and they need to know the difference. They can't just put us in this bubble, everyone, and say, well, that's not true because this didn't happen to that person. That's not it. And one of the other ones to mention was oh God, I just saw what our producer put up, and this is so sensitive to me. But the other thing I want to mention was Dr. Shantae. We've had her on the show before. Is a naturopath doctor. That is another person that has become a medical person in my life that has helped me for a number of years in situations, and not just me, but other family members. And that natural, because everything doesn't need a medicine from a pharmaceutical company. Some things, if you look at it medically, or you look at the holistic approach to it, and I have learned to use holistic approaches with her in terms of vitamins, in terms of minerals, in terms of different ways to address some of the fluctuations, because I don't have a thyroid, so my thyroid is off sometimes. So I've learned with her how to manage some of those fluctuations on a way, even in the food I eat and things like that. So I think those are things that another way I've advocated for myself is just looking at alternatives. They call me, a botanist now because I use a lot of oils and stuff. But I've learned they work. That's what they do. 1,000 years ago, this is what they were doing. So again, I think that's a new way of just me personally advocating.
Yeah, and sometimes, marry the two, right? Until you can get off medication, right? I think people think that it's one way or the other, and it doesn't have to be. Sometimes you need to marry the two. Now, I will say this, the goal I hope for most people is to not take medication, right? And listen, let me say this, right? The goal is to not take medication. And I'm not saying that for people who really need medication. I'm not saying that don't take your medication. But sometimes you can take medication and marry that with holistic practices so that you can allow your body to start to restore and build itself and start to regain some of the things that maybe you've lost through taking medication and not really using some more holistic practices with it. Start to rebuild your body and do both at the same time. So we also wanted to highlight some things that really affect women as well. And this is a big one, right? How the government is impacting women's health with the overturn of Roe versus Wade. Now, you heard me say earlier today, right, to the ladies here, you have autonomy. You have autonomy, and you should have autonomy over your own body and what you choose to do with it. Be it take medications, get an abortion, depending on your own personal situation, you should have autonomy over your own body. So, I know we actually broached this subject before here on the show as well. We talked about Roe versus Wade, but just, what are your thoughts when it comes to Roe versus Wade and the overturning of that ruling?
I still can't believe it. I still can't believe that it was actually overturned. It still is issue for me, a huge issue for me that because women's bodies are for women to make decisions on, but Roe versus Wade is all about, and I'm going to say this, men controlling women's bodies. And I say men. Because there is no court out there telling a man what he cannot do. No court. There's never even a broach of somebody even approaching a court to tell a man what they can't do with their body. So the audacity to tell a woman what they can and can't do with their body, I think is beyond. It's beyond. And the whole concept of the embryo, I think, follows that. They sure aren't taking men's sperm and telling the man that, oh no, I can't do something with that. But they're now going to take an embryo and now tell you what you can do with your embryo. I have problems. Again, this is men. And I'm sorry. Now, I'm not saying there's a lot of women that's not supporting this. There's a whole bunch of women. But I also believe that these women are controlled by men telling them what to do. Because once again, I don't see nothing to tell a man what they can't do. And the last time I looked, it takes a man and a woman to have a baby. Still does.
So we're going to stop her.
And we're not going to exactly. But we're going to stop her. Because we're going to stop her if she's now in danger, or she decides, or if I leave her and she has no means to take care of this baby, all of a sudden she's the problem. And she's the one I want to put in jail about it now too. I have a problem with that.
I
have a big problem. And this is a big issue in the next election. And I'm telling you, this is one of my things. I have a problem.
Yep. And we won't go into the political part of that because we could be here all day. But I wanted to read some statistics that we have here too. It says in 2021, the maternal mortality rate of non-Hispanic Blacks, subsequently Black women, was 69.9 deaths per 100,000 live births. And then 2.6 times the rate of non-Hispanic white, subsequently white women, 26.6. So the rates for Black women were significantly higher than the rates for white and Hispanic women when it comes to, when it comes to that 2.6 times the rate. So when you think about, and where do you think that disparity comes from? Like, I know there's a lot of lack of health care up front for Black women, particularly when it comes to Black women getting pregnant and getting the maternal help that they need, right? But where else do you think that disparity comes from?
I think because of what I said before. I don't think doctors in general understand Black women. I don't think they understand our bodies. Our shape totally different. The average Black woman's body is shaped differently than your average white American woman. It's a different body. It's a different body than most nationalities. If you look at different bodies of Asian, of Hispanic, of and a Black woman, they're different body types. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In terms of build. Unfortunately, there's more women dying in childbirth, Black women, than they are in other nationalities. As I say it like that.
Yeah.
I experienced I don't think they understand body when it comes to the uterus. Like women, Black women, unfortunately suffer from fibroid tumors more than other women's. I know what you go. And now there's a court case out there that has proved. And a lot of it has to do with our hair and how we and all the products and chemicals that we were forced to use on our hair that caused it. So when you have fibroids and try to have a baby, especially natural, you tend to bleed a lot. I say this because I was my sister's birthing coach when she had her second child, and literally she almost died on the table. And she had a natural birth, but they could not stop the bleeding because she had fibroids.
Yeah.
I say that because I have them, and so does my other sister. It's something that all three of us have. And if you remember, Williams also all had a very similar situation, and she almost became very critical as she gave birth to her daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's the advocate. Your point,
but
Tracy.
Well,
she advocated for herself, and because she advocated, they caught it. But she said, "I do not feel well."
Yeah, but I do want to say this too, right? And I have to put these things out there as well. I do think that there is a disparity in health care when it comes to the Black community versus other ethnicities. So I don't think that we get the right care up front. I will say this about the fibroids, that the fibroids, and I have them, so I'm saying this from experience too. Fibroids, a big part of fibroids is a result of what we traditionally have done in the Black community. And I'm going to say it like this too. What has traditionally been available to the Black community when it comes to the things that we consume. So it's not just our own habits, it's what's available to the Black community when it comes to what we consume, right? Because you mentioned perms, the food, there's a lot to do with that. And it's not just because we're Black, right? It's because of the things that were provided to us and the things that we utilized as a result of being Black. Yes, it's available to us.
Right. There's companies that target certain products to Black communities.
Yeah.
So I do believe it's because we are Black. They're targeting certain things. They targeted.
Yes. But I'm saying this to say, this is why we're here, right? To educate people on how to make these changes, right? Because this does not have to be us. It does not have to be us in the Black community. And we need to start to educate ourselves on the changes that we can make for our bodies. And I had a fibroid growing with my son when I was pregnant. And it just kept getting bigger and bigger as he was growing. It was growing because, it feeds on the hormones and it feeds on the blood.
Right.
So, I definitely know about this subject, but, we have to start to change the things that we're doing to our bodies in order to make differences in how things are occurring to us ethnically, right? Because it's not just us being Black. I just want to mention that we have to make changes for ourselves in order to make changes in our health. So we wanted to talk about some best practices when it comes to women's health. Now, I'm going to give you the basics are always good, right? The basics are always amazing. Drink water, everybody. Drink water. Carry water with you. Make sure that you're getting a sufficient amount of water. The rule of thumb is half your body weight in fluid ounces, or 4 ounces every hour, right? So make sure that you're getting in enough water. Do the basics first. Get enough sleep. Sleep is essential for your body's recovery. Make sure that you are getting enough sleep. And then about eating nutritious foods. Stay on the outside of the grocery store. Stay on the perimeter. Get natural whole foods. Stop eating processed foods. Stop giving your body the chemicals, which is what caters to the things like fibroids and other ailments that we have as a community. Eat whole, healthy, nutritious foods. Get movement. We talked about movement earlier. You want to make sure that you're getting movement so that you can do the things like reducing your stress, increasing your endorphins, allowing your blood circulation, allowing your body to digest. The other thing is aid your body in digesting toxicity. Get a cleanse, get a detox, do something, eat more fiber, do something that's going to allow your body to detox. There is a significant relationship between your gut health and illness, a significant relationship. So you want to make sure that you are aiding your body in its digestive health. The other part about that is if you release the toxicity when it comes to being able to absorb all the good vital vitamins and nutrients that your body needs, it will get that through your small intestines, but it won't get that if you're all clogged up. So you want to make sure that you're releasing toxicity, aid your body in detoxification. And then I'm going to give you some other ones, right? Go out there and laugh and have fun and
every day.
Body to reduce, right? It allows you to reduce stress and anxiety that you're putting on your body, which then also aids all of the other physical aspects also. So implement some form of fun and laughter and self-care to relax yourself, to reduce the stress, and just have a good time in your life. Right?
I love it. I'm going to get in that tub that Shima has right behind her.
Exactly. And
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say I have one more to mention because we were talking about medical practices earlier, and I don't knock medical practices. I love the holistic, of course, but I still go to the doctor. Go to the doctor and know your numbers. Find a doctor that is going to help explain to you what's happening in your body. That is one of the best practices, because how do you know what you should eat, what you should do for your body if you don't know your numbers? You need to know your glucose levels, your cholesterol, your high blood pressure, all of your vitamins and minerals that you're maybe deficient on or have too much of. You need to know those numbers, and you need a doctor that's going to go through them with you, because I guarantee you when the paper comes out, you're not going to know what it says if that doctor doesn't read it with you and tell you what it's saying. So know your numbers.
Ask him to. Ask him to. Or her to. They're quick to, because they know the terminology and all the information may be over your head. The quick thing they'll say is, "Oh, your blood work looks good."
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
Tell me what that means.
Right. Where's my levels at? And I love that. And one of the other things that I'll add in terms of good practices is a lot now, unlike before, getting natural foods, organic foods used to be very expensive. They have now come out with grocery stores that makes organic and natural much more affordable. Find those stores. I'm not gonna go out there and advertise for anybody, but find those stores that do have much better prices, so that you can get those foods. Because that was another thing. Talking about what was targeted in communities. The cost of a lot of these things were a little bit above our heads, especially now but now those costs has come down. So I encourage you to do that. I encourage you to embrace that and see how you can do that little by little in your family.
Absolutely. So everybody out there, this has been another episode of FEM Talk. We love you all out there. We thank you. Don't forget to send in your questions, and we will see you next week, FEM Talk Nation.